Right now, as you sit and watch this, something is moving beneath your feet. Something ancient. Something that doesn't care about borders, governments, or survival plans. And the terrifying part? Scientists have been watching it wake up for years, and they still don't know when it will explode. We're not talking about a regular volcano. We're talking about something in a completely different category. Something so massive, so powerful, that when it last erupted, it nearly ended all human life on Earth. And right now, in multiple places around the world, these giants are showing signs of activity that have researchers quietly, carefully, worried. Welcome to the world of supervolcanoes. And once you understand what they are capable of, you will never look at the ground the same way again. Most people picture a volcano as a cone-shaped mountain. Lava at the top. Fire shooting into the sky. Dramatic, yes. Dangerous, yes. But manageable. A regular volcano might destroy a city. A supervolcano destroys a continent. Sometimes more. The difference isn't just size, it's an entirely different kind of catastrophe. A supervolcano doesn't have a peak. It has a caldera, a massive, sunken crater that can be dozens of miles wide. It forms not by building upward, but by collapsing inward after an eruption so violent that it empties an underground magma chamber in a matter of days. What's left is a hole in the earth so large you could fit entire cities inside it. And the one in the United States. You've probably already heard of it. You may have even visited it on vacation. Yellowstone National Park sits on top of one of the largest supervolcano systems on the planet. Those famous geysers you've seen in photos, Old Faithful shooting hot water into the air like clockwork, that's not a tourist attraction. That's a pressure valve. That's the Earth breathing out the heat building beneath the surface. The entire park is, in a very real sense, the roof of a sleeping giant. And it has erupted before. 3 times in the last 2 million years. The most recent major eruption happened 640,000 years ago, and it was 1,000 times more powerful than the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980. It covered the sky in ash. It buried half of North America in a thick gray blanket. It changed the global temperature. Animals died across the world, not from fire, but from what came after. The darkness, the cold, the collapse of food chains. Now here's where it gets deeply unsettling. In 2014, the ground at Yellowstone rose by nearly 3 inches in just a few months. 3 inches doesn't sound like much, until you realize that the entire floor of the caldera was lifting. Scientists measured the uplift and traced it back to a surge of magma moving closer to the surface. The park registered over 2,400 earthquakes in a single year, a swarm of tremors so intense that it ranked as one of the most active seismic periods in Yellowstone's recorded history. The USGS, the United States Geological Survey, monitors Yellowstone constantly. They measure the ground movement. They track the temperature of the rivers and soil. They watch for changes in gas emissions, particularly sulfur dioxide, which increases when magma rises. And while they maintain that an eruption isn't imminent, they are also very careful never to say it's impossible. Because the truth is, with supervolcanoes, no one really knows. The science is still catching up to the scale of the threat. But Yellowstone isn't alone. In southern Italy, there is a volcanic zone called Campi Flegrei, or in English, the Phlegrean Fields. It sits just west of Naples, a city of nearly 1 million people. Unlike Yellowstone, which is safely inside a national park, Campi Flegrei is directly beneath a populated area. Streets, buildings, homes, all resting on a caldera that has been showing signs of movement for decades. In the 1980s, parts of the town of Pozzuoli near Naples had to be evacuated twice as the ground literally rose by nearly 6 feet over just a few years. People watched their homes slowly lift out of the earth. The harbor, once at sea level, became land. This phenomenon, called bradyseism, is the ground breathing in and out as magma and fluids shift below. It's dramatic. It's measurable. And in 2023, scientists confirmed that Campi Flegrei is entering a critical phase. The volcanic unrest has been accelerating. Earthquakes in the region have increased in both frequency and intensity. The rock beneath the surface is weakening. Not cracking, fracturing. Like the ceiling of a cave that has held too long. Italian officials have been quietly revising evacuation plans. And when governments start rehearsing evacuations for events they call unlikely, it's time to pay attention. Then there's the one most people never hear about, Toba, in Indonesia. Roughly 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano erupted in what scientists believe was the largest volcanic event in the last 25 million years. The explosion was so catastrophic that it may have reduced the entire human population on Earth to just a few thousand individuals. A genetic bottleneck. A near-extinction. The ash cloud blocked sunlight for years. Global temperatures dropped by up to 15 degrees Celsius. Crops, or whatever early humans relied on, failed everywhere. This one event may explain why all humans alive today share such similar DNA. We may all be descendants of the survivors of Toba. Let that sink in. One volcano, one eruption, almost ended us all. And Toba is still classified as active. So what would actually happen if one of these giants erupted today? Scientists have modeled it. The numbers are staggering. In the first hours, everything within 100 miles of the eruption would be annihilated. Not damaged, gone. The pyroclastic flows, superheated clouds of gas and rock traveling at 450 miles per hour, would reach cities before anyone could escape. There would be no warning that was long enough. No evacuation plan that was fast enough. Within days, ash would begin falling across entire regions. Ash isn't soft and powdery in a disaster scenario. It's heavy, abrasive, and toxic. It collapses roofs. It clogs engines. It makes water undrinkable. It destroys crops in a matter of hours. A Yellowstone eruption would deposit ash across most of the United States. The Midwest, America's breadbasket, the source of food for much of the world, would be buried. Within months, the sulfur dioxide released into the atmosphere would form a reflective shield around the Earth. Sunlight would be blocked. Temperatures would drop globally. This is called a volcanic winter. The last time something like this happened on a smaller scale, the eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815, the following year became known as the year without a summer. Crops failed across Europe and North America. Famine spread. People starved to death in countries that had never experienced food shortages before. That was from a regular volcano. A supervolcano eruption would trigger a volcanic winter lasting years. Maybe decades. And here is the part that should truly disturb you. We are not ready. There is no international plan. There is no global emergency stockpile designed for this scale of disaster. There is no technology to stop a supervolcanic eruption. Scientists have proposed ideas, drilling into the magma chamber to slowly release heat and pressure, like letting steam out of a pressure cooker. But these ideas remain theoretical, underfunded, and decades away from any kind of real implementation. The most sophisticated thing we can do right now is watch, measure, monitor, and hope that the signals we're seeing are just the Earth stretching, not winding up for something that changes the course of human history. The volcanoes are not a myth. They are not a distant threat. They are beneath cities, beneath parks, beneath oceans. They have erupted before. They will erupt again. The question has never been if, only when. We have built our entire civilization on the surface of a planet that is still very much alive. And every now and then, that planet reminds us just how little control we actually have. If this kind of mystery, the kind that forces you to see the world differently, to understand what's really happening beneath the headlines, is something you want more of, then subscribe. Because this is just the beginning of what we're going to uncover together. The Earth has more secrets than you know. And some of them are far more urgent than anyone is telling you.